Hey everyone, and welcome to Udaipur, a small city with a fascinating history and the last place that I visited on my trip to India. Known as the City of Lakes for the 7 major lakes that surround it, Udaipur is absolutely beautiful and a great place to spend a few days. It's my hope that this little series on Indian Airlines will not only showcase the country's bustling aviation industry, but will also encourage my viewers from around the world to come visit India. It's an incredible country and well worth a visit. With that said, it's time to head back to the airport and catch the first of a series of flights that'll be taking me back to New York City. Udaipur has a small airport with flights to a handful of domestic locations, and this new terminal building was opened in 2008. I'm here today to fly to Hyderbad with a true giant in the world of low-cost carriers, IndiGo. When researching flights to book for this trip, IndiGo kept coming up as the most reliable airline and the best value for your money. And that should come as no surprise considering how they grew to become India's largest airline by passenger market share in just 6 years. I always love boarding via a remote gate because you get some great views of the plane. Just don't get caught taking pictures though, because that guy was not too happy with me. There's 180 seats on this A320, and I'll be sitting in 6A today. All of the seats are in a 3-3 configuration, and there's a few extra legroom options around the cabin that you can choose for an additional fee. I decided to go with standard legroom though because, well, I'm cheap. Soon enough, the cabin doors were closed and we taxied out to the airport's only runway. This is one of the airline's older A320-200s, but IndiGo also operates about 100 A320neos. As a budget airline, IndiGo's cabins are relatively no frills, so you're not going to find a lot of the amenities that are common on legacy carriers. There's no power outlets or Wi-Fi, but the seats are pretty comfortable. I was also pleasantly surprised to see that the seats reclined, which isn't something you always get on low-cost carriers. The legroom was a little tight, but this flight was only about an hour and a half long, so it really didn't bother me that much. The seat back pockets were well designed, and there was a nice amount of storage space. IndiGo also filled them up with the usual contents, including my now favorite airplane safety card. I don't know why, but I just love the character that they made for this. There's also the in-flight magazine called Hello 6E. Admittedly, the tray tables were a little small and they weren't adjustable, but I've seen worse. There are also individual air nozzles and reading lights, which is always a plus. The crew began to take food orders shortly after takeoff. Obviously, since this is a budget airline, the meals weren't complimentary, but there was a wide variety of options available, and the prices were pretty reasonable, all things considered. Since there's no IFE or Wi-Fi on board, my advice is to pay a little extra and grab a window seat. Or you could just check out the in-flight magazine and admire some of these impressive statistics. So far, this has been a really nice flight, but one of the highlights I found with flying with IndiGo was the booking process. The website was intuitive and very user-friendly. After I initially purchased this ticket, there was a scheduling change, and it was really easy to select another flight, or I could get a refund if I wanted to. Something similar happened with Air India, but that whole situation was not easy to resolve. I had a long 4-hour layover in Hyderbad, and then I caught another IndiGo flight to Goa. I was pretty worried when I checked my bags in at Udaipur that they might not make it all the way to Goa, but thankfully there were no issues and my bags were waiting for me when I got off the plane. I should also mention that IndiGo gives you 15 kilograms of checked luggage, and you can have one free carry-on bag as long as it weighs under 7 kilograms. That's definitely not something you see every day on a budget airline. Overall, I was really impressed with IndiGo, and if you're looking for a cheap and reliable way to fly around India, then I definitely recommend them. Just don't try to take any pictures of the plane because you will get yelled at. And that'll do it for this video. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you all later.